Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Friendly English Practice, the place where learning English feels fun, natural, and friendly. I'm your host, Lina, and today we have a very interesting topic, something simple but so important for everyone who wants to speak English confidently. We're going to talk about how to talk about yourself. Yes, this is one of the first things we all need to learn in English. Introducing ourselves, describing who we are, what we do, and what we like. But sometimes, even when we know English words, it's hard to speak smoothly or confidently about ourselves. So today, we're going to make it easy and enjoyable. And guess what? I'm not alone. I have a very special guest with me, someone who loves sharing ideas and helping others speak naturally. Please welcome Stephen.
Hi, Lina. Hi, everyone listening. I'm really excited to be here today. Talking about yourself sounds simple, but as you said, it can be tricky. I've met so many learners who say, I know English, but I don't know what to say when someone asks me to introduce myself. So I'm happy to talk about that today.
Exactly. That's what we'll explore together. We'll go step by step from introducing yourself to describing your background, your hobbies, your work, and even your goals. And of course, we'll share useful English phrases, natural expressions, and common mistakes to avoid. Because here on Friendly English Practice, our goal isn't just to learn English words, it's to use English in real life with confidence.
Yes, that's the key. Being confident. You don't have to sound perfect. You just have to sound you. When you talk about yourself, it's your story, your experience, so it should sound natural and honest.
I love that. And to all our listeners, if you're watching or listening, you can even practice with us. After each part, pause the video and try to answer the same questions we talk about. For example, who are you? Where are you from? What do you like doing? Just speak out loud, even if you're alone. The more you practice, the easier it becomes.
That's right. I always tell my students, don't wait for perfect English to start speaking. Start speaking, and your English will get better every time.
Perfect advice. So friends, get ready, relax, and let's begin our episode, Talk About Yourself. By the end of this conversation, you'll have all the words, phrases, and confidence you need to introduce yourself naturally, just like a native speaker. All right, everyone, let's start with the very first and most important part, how to introduce yourself. Now, Stephen, when someone says, tell me about yourself, what's the best way to start?
That's a great question, Lina. The key is to keep it simple, clear, and friendly. Usually your introduction should have three main things: your name, where you're from, and what you do, for example, your job or your role as a student. You can always add more details later, but this is a good starting point.
Perfect. So something like, hi, I'm Lina. I'm from Bangladesh, and I'm an English teacher. That's short, natural, and easy to understand.
Exactly. And you can also say it in different ways depending on the situation. For example, if you're meeting someone casually, you might say, hey, I'm Steven. Nice to meet you. Or if it's a formal situation, like a job interview, you could say, good morning. My name is Stephen Clark. I'm from London, and I work as a marketing manager.
That's a great point. The tone really matters. When you speak casually, smile and sound friendly. When it's formal, speak slowly, clearly, and confidently. And friends, remember, don't memorize long speeches. Just use short, natural sentences. They sound more real.
Yes, totally. And pronunciation also makes a big difference. For example, instead of saying I am Stephen, you can say I'm Stephen. These small contractions like I'm, I've, I'll, they make your English sound more fluent.
Good tip. And here's something I tell my students. After you introduce yourself, try to keep the conversation going. You can ask a simple question back, like, what about you? Where are you from? What do you do? That shows confidence and helps you make a friendly connection.
Yes, it turns your introduction into a real conversation. Let's try an example, shall we?
Sure. Let's pretend we just met for the first time.
Okay. Hi, I'm Stephen. I'm from the UK. I'm an English coach, and I love helping people speak confidently.
Nice to meet you, Stephen. I'm Lina. I'm from Bangladesh, and I run a YouTube channel called Friendly English Practice, where I help learners improve their speaking skills.
That sounds great. And see, that's how you can add a little extra detail to make your introduction more interesting. You didn't just say your name, you also shared what you do and your passion.
Exactly. That little part, I run a YouTube channel, makes the introduction more personal and engaging.
And for our listeners, here are some more useful phrases you can practice. I was born in, I grew up in, I currently live in, I'm studying at, I work as. These help you expand your introduction naturally.
Let's give a quick example using those phrases. Hi, I'm Stephen. I was born in London, but I grew up in Manchester. I currently live in Dubai, and I work as an English trainer. See, that sounds smooth, friendly, and full of useful details, but it's still not too long.
That's perfect. And one more thing. Don't rush when introducing yourself. Many English learners speak too fast because they're nervous. Take a deep breath, smile, and speak slowly. That makes you sound calm and confident.
Exactly. And even if you forget a word, it's okay. You can just say, sorry, I forgot the word, but I mean, that's totally normal. Remember, English is not about being perfect. It's about being understood. That's such good advice. So, friends, if you're watching, take a moment to practice your own introduction right now. You can follow this structure: name, where you're from, what you do, something you like. Example, hi, I'm Lina. I'm from USA. I'm an English coach, and I love helping people learn to speak confidently. Go ahead, say yours out loud.
Yes, pause the video if you need to and try it yourself. You'll be surprised how much better you sound each time you practice.
Wonderful. So now that we've learned how to introduce ourselves, let's move on to the next part, talking about your background. That's where we'll learn how to share more personal details, like where you grew up, your education, and your family, all in clear, natural English.
Yes, this part is fun because it's all about your story. When you talk about your background, you're helping people understand who you are, your roots, your memories, and the experiences that shaped you.
Exactly. And you don't need to make it complicated. You just need some useful phrases. Let's start with something simple, talking about your hometown. Stephen, how would you talk about where you're from?
I'd say something like, I'm from Manchester, a city in the north of England. Or, I was born in London, but I grew up in Manchester. See? 2 short sentences, but they give a clear picture of my background.
That's perfect. And friends, here are a few useful expressions you can use when talking about your hometown. I was born in. I grew up in. I come from a small, big town called. It's a beautiful place with. I've lived there all my life. You can combine these to make your answer more natural.
Yes, let's do an example together. I was born in New York, but I grew up in Florida. It's a coastal city with lots of friendly people and great food. That's simple, clear, and it tells the listener something interesting about where you're from.
That's perfect. And friends, when you add little details like friendly people or great food, your introduction becomes more personal and memorable. Now let's move on to family, another big part of our background. Stephen, how can learners talk about their family in English?
Good question. You can start with the basics. How many people are in your family and who they are? For example, there are 5 people in my family: my parents, my 2 brothers, and me. Or, I have 1 younger sister and 1 older brother. If you want to add more, you can describe what they do. My father is a teacher, And my mother runs a small business.
That's nice and simple. And for learners, I always suggest using short sentences when describing family. It's easier to say and understand. For example, my family is very close. We like spending time together. We often have dinner together on weekends. These small sentences sound natural and show personality.
Yes. And here's another tip. When you talk about your background, don't worry about making it perfect or formal. It's okay to be a bit casual. For example, I come from a small village, but I moved to the city for my studies. That one line tells us about your past and your reason for moving. Very natural.
That's a great example. And friends, you can also talk about your education background in a simple way, like this. I finished my schooling in Florida. I studied English at university. I graduated in 2020. You can use these sentences to connect your past and present smoothly.
Right. Let's put everything together in one example so listeners can see how it all fits in. Hi, I'm Stephen. I was born in London, but I grew up in Manchester. I come from a small, friendly family, my parents, and my younger brother. I studied communication at university, and I've always loved meeting people from different cultures. That's a complete, short background, and it sounds confident and natural.
That's such a good example. And remember, friends, when you talk about your background, don't just list facts. Try to add emotion. Say something about how you feel. For example, I loved growing up near the sea. My hometown will always be special to me. I'm really close to my family. That makes your English sound warm and real.
Yes, emotion makes a big difference. When you speak with feeling, people don't just understand your words, they connect with you.
That's beautifully said, Stephen. So, to our listeners, here's a quick practice task. Pause the video and try to answer these questions out loud. Number 1, where were you born? Number 2, where did you grow up? Number 3, how many people are in your family? Number 4, what did you study or are you studying now? Number 5, what do you love most about your hometown? Take your time and practice these sentences out loud.
Yes, and don't forget to smile while speaking. It changes your voice and helps you sound more confident.
That's wonderful advice. So, friends, now we'll talk about something even more personal: how to describe your hobbies, interests, and personality. That's where you can show who you truly are in English.
That's so true, Lina. When you share your hobbies or interests, it makes your English sound alive and authentic. It's also a great way to connect with people because hobbies show what you enjoy, what makes you happy, and what kind of person you are.
Exactly. So let's start simple. Stephen, if someone asks you, what do you like to do in your free time? How would you answer?
I'd probably say something like, in my free time, I like reading books and going for long walks. Or, I really enjoy cooking and spending time with my friends. Short, friendly, and easy to understand.
That's perfect. And friends, notice how Stephen used I like and I enjoy. Both are very natural ways to start talking about your interests. Here are a few more examples you can practice. I love watching movies in English. I enjoy listening to music. I'm really interested in photography. I'm passionate about learning new languages. In my spare time, I like to travel.
Those are great examples. And you can also talk about how often you do something to make your answer sound more complete. For example, I usually read every night before bed. I go to the gym 3 times a week. I often cook on weekends.
Adding these small details makes your English sound more natural and fluent.
That's a great tip. And now let's move on to personality, another important part of talking about yourself. Many learners find this tricky because it feels a bit personal, but don't worry. You can describe your personality in a kind and confident way.
Yes, a good way to start is with, I'd say I'm, my friends describe me as, or people say I'm. For example, I'd say I'm a friendly and positive person. My friends describe me as hardworking and funny. People say I'm calm and easy to talk to. These are polite and natural ways to share who you are.
I love those examples. And friends, here are some common adjectives you can use to describe your personality. Positive adjectives are friendly, kind, honest, confident, creative, patient, helpful, hardworking. Neutral adjectives are quiet, calm, shy, serious, thoughtful. And outgoing adjectives are talkative, energetic, funny, cheerful, and adventurous. You can mix a few of these to describe yourself naturally.
Yes, and you can even combine your personality with your interests. For example, I'm a creative person, so I love painting. I'm very social, so I enjoy meeting new people. I'm a bit shy, but I like writing. It helps me express myself. That's a great way to connect who you are with what you love doing.
That's beautiful. It shows that English isn't just about grammar. It's about expressing your real self. Now, let's try a little demo conversation, okay?
Sure, let's do it.
So, Stephen, what kind of person are you?
I'd say I'm friendly and open-minded. I really enjoy meeting new people and learning about different cultures. In my free time, I love reading travel books and going for long walks.
That's wonderful. You sound like someone who enjoys exploring and connecting with people. For me, I'd say I'm cheerful and patient. I enjoy helping others, especially when it comes to learning English.
That's true. I can see that in your work here at Friendly English Practice. And see, friends, that conversation was natural, simple, and full of useful expressions.
Exactly. So let's quickly review some phrases you can use when talking about your personality and interests. I'd say I'm a person. My friends describe me as, I'm interested in my free time, I like to, I'm passionate about. Try combining these into your own short speech.
Yes, and here's a short example you can practice. Hi, I'm Stephen. I'd say I'm a curious and creative person. I enjoy learning new things, reading, and spending time outdoors. My friends describe me as positive and supportive. That's just 4 sentences, but it sounds confident, friendly, and natural.
That's perfect. And remember, friends, when you describe yourself, smile and use your natural voice. It's not about sounding perfect, it's about sounding like you.
Exactly. English is your tool to show the world who you are. Use it with confidence and kindness.
Beautifully said, Stephen. So, friends, now we'll talk about another important topic, how to talk about your work or studies. You'll learn how to describe your job, your daily routine, and your achievements in a professional but natural way.
Yes, some people love their work, others not so much. But whether you're a student or a professional, you'll often be asked questions like, what do you do? Where do you work? What are you studying? So it's really useful to know how to answer those questions confidently and naturally in English.
Exactly. Let's start with a very basic sentence structure that everyone can use. If you have a job, you can say, I work as a data analyst. For example, I work as a teacher. I work as an engineer. Or, if you're a student, I'm studying English at Florida College. For example, I'm studying computer science at university. These simple sentences are perfect for introductions.
Yes, and here are a few more natural ways to talk about what you do. I'm a software developer. I teach English at a language school. I run my own small business. I work for a travel company. I'm currently studying English to improve my communication skills. Each one sounds real and conversational.
I love those examples. And you can make your answer more interesting by adding a little detail about your daily work or study routine. For example, I'm a nurse, I work in a hospital, and I take care of patients every day. Or, I'm studying marketing, I'm really interested in learning how brands connect with people. That gives the listener a fuller picture of who you are and what you do.
Yes, details make your English more engaging. You can also share what you enjoy about your work or study. For example, I enjoy teaching because I love helping people learn new things. I like my job because it allows me to be creative. I love my university. I've met so many amazing friends here.
That's so true. And for many learners, it's also good to know some ways to talk about career goals or future studies in this part of your introduction. You can say, I'm planning to, I hope to, I'd like to. For example, I'm planning to become a teacher. I hope to work in a big company one day. I'd like to study abroad in the future. These sentences make your English sound positive and forward-looking.
Yes, and they also make great conversation starters. If you're talking to someone new, saying your plans invites them to ask more questions, and that's how real conversations happen.
Exactly. Now let's do a quick demo conversation to show our listeners how it sounds in real life.
Sure, let's imagine we just met.
So, Stephen, what do you do?
I work as an English communication trainer. I teach professionals how to speak clearly and confidently in the workplace. I've been doing this for about 5 years now.
That's great. You must really enjoy it.
Yes, I do. I love seeing my students grow and start speaking with confidence. It's the best part of my job.
I totally understand that. I'm also passionate about teaching. I run a YouTube channel called Friendly English Practice, where I help learners speak naturally through conversations like this one.
That's awesome. It's a great way to make learning English more real and interactive.
Exactly. And friends, did you notice something in our conversation? We didn't use difficult words, just simple, natural English. That's the secret to sounding confident.
Yes, and for our listeners, here are a few useful expressions to describe your job or studies. I work in education. I'm responsible for managing a small team. My main job is to design websites. I'm studying business management. I'm really interested in data science.
Those are so helpful. And here's a small practice activity for everyone watching. Practice task. Answer these 3 questions out loud. 1, what do you do? 2, what do you like most about your work or study? 3, what are your future goals? Take a deep breath, think for a moment, and say your answers clearly. You can even record yourself. That's a great way to track your improvement.
That's a great idea. And remember, don't worry if your answer is short or simple. That's totally fine. It's better to speak clearly and naturally than to use complicated sentences you can't remember.
Exactly. Speaking English is not about perfection. It's about communication. So whether you're a student, a worker, or even between jobs, just speak with confidence and honesty.
Well said, Lina. So, friends, now we'll talk about another important topic, your future goals and dreams. We'll share how to express your plans, hopes, and ambitions in English using natural, easy phrases.
Yes, my favorite topic. Because when you talk about your goals, you're not just practicing English, you're also speaking your dreams into existence. And that's powerful.
Absolutely. Talking about your goals is a great way to show confidence, positivity, and direction in your life. It also helps others understand what motivates you, what you're passionate about. So, Lina, let's begin with a very simple question.
If someone asks, "What are your goals for the future?" how can we answer naturally?
Good question, Stephen. You can start with expressions like, in the future, I'd like to, my goal is to, I'm planning to, I hope to, one day I want to. Each of these is perfect for speaking naturally about your dreams. For example, in the future, I'd like to open my own language school. My goal is to become a professional English trainer. I'm planning to study abroad next year. Short, clear, and full of motivation.
Those are beautiful examples. And friends, notice how each sentence starts with a positive intention. You don't have to be sure about everything in life. Just speak about your dreams with hope. For example, I might say, in the future, I'd like to reach more English learners around the world through my channel, Friendly English Practice. That's one of my biggest dreams, and saying it out loud keeps me motivated.
That's wonderful, Lina. And I think your channel already inspires many people every day. Here's another thing learners can do. Talk about why they have that goal. When you share the reason, your answer sounds more emotional and real. For example, I want to become a doctor because I love helping people. I hope to be a teacher one day because I enjoy sharing knowledge. My dream is to travel the world and learn about different cultures. The why makes your answer more powerful.
That's such an important point. And friends, your goals don't always have to be big or complicated. Even small goals are meaningful. For example, I want to speak English fluently. I'd like to read one English book every month. I hope to make new international friends. Every dream starts small, but every small dream takes you closer to something big.
Exactly. And here's a little trick for practicing English while talking about your goals. Use the word will or going to when you're confident about your plan. For example, I'm going to learn how to code next year. I'll start my own YouTube channel soon. I'm going to travel to Japan next summer. These sound confident and clear, as if you already believe it will happen.
I love that energy. When we talk about our dreams as if they're already real, it gives us the motivation to make them happen.
And remember, friends, when you speak about your future, you're not just learning English words, you're building your mindset, one of confidence, belief, and growth.
Beautifully said, Lina. Let's do a short practice conversation to show how it sounds in real life.
Sure. Let's imagine we're talking about our future plans.
So, Lina, what are your future goals?
Well, I'd love to keep growing Friendly English Practice and reach more students around the world. I'm also planning to write an English learning book one day.
That's amazing. I'm sure you'll do it. For me, I'd like to travel to new countries, meet English learners in person, and create workshops that help people speak confidently.
That's such a great goal, Stephen. You love connecting with people with them. That's what makes you a great teacher.
Thank you, Lina. And friends, see how we used phrases like I'd like to and I'm planning to? That's how you can talk about your goals naturally in English.
Exactly. So now it's your turn, dear listeners. Here's a quick practice challenge for you. Practice task. Pause the video and try answering these 3 questions. What do you want to do in the future? Why is that goal important to you? What small steps can you take to reach it? Say your answers out loud or write them in your notebook. Even better, record yourself speaking and listen to how confident you sound.
That's an excellent exercise. And remember, the more you talk about your goals, the clearer they become in your mind. And one day, when you achieve them, you'll realize that every sentence you spoke in English brought you closer to success.
That's such a wonderful message, Stephen. I think this is the perfect way to close our episode. So friends, thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed this full conversation on how to talk about yourself and that you're now ready to introduce yourself, share your story, and speak confidently in English.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Keep practicing, keep believing, and remember, every word you speak brings you one step closer to fluency.
Beautifully said. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Friendly English Practice, your friendly place to grow in English, one conversation at a time. See you next time, friends.